Man, oh man. First things first, I am sorry that I look like garbage. It is Sunday, and daylight savings time happened without any warning to me. So my whole day has been a little bit screwed up. I'm trying to figure out why I'm so tired and why I woke up so late just to find out that I lost an hour of sleep. So it all makes sense now. But anyway, I have something sort of exciting to be talking about today. So I'll get into that right after this because, as per usual, if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you've never seen my face, never seen one of my videos, my name is McKenna. I own a digital media company called Studio SB Creatives. And today, I want to talk about an experience that I had in the past week relating to something I believe that I talked about in my last video, where if you're not fully aware, I have been thinking about opening up my own studio, and I've been looking at places and trying to connect with people, and I ended up reaching out to a studio of a very similar structure to the one that I want to open, and I actually got in touch with the owner. And he got me in the middle of a really bad moment when he called me, but he did invite me to this workshop that he hosts once a month. And it just happened to be around the corner when he called me. So the following week, or which was last week now, I attended the workshop. It was my first ever photography workshop, and it was really cool. It was very, very neat. It was not like I expected, but it was a very cool experience. It was focused heavily on how to use lighting and strobes and flashes and stuff like that. And, I walked in here, I wasn't really sure what to expect. Honestly, my main intention was to kind of visit the workshop, see what was going on, but also talk to the owner of the studio just about what it's like to own a studio, what goes into it, and just a bunch of businessy questions about what I could expect if I started my own studio. However, I got so caught up in the workshop that I didn't really talk to him that much, and I don't think that it would have been beneficial anyway because he was kind of busy bouncing around talking to people too, and I don't necessarily think that that was the right time for me to do that anyway. So as far as getting information on starting my own studio goes, I did not focus too heavily on that, but I did want to talk about my experience at my first photography workshop. So, like I said, I didn't really know what to expect going into this. I thought it was just going to be more of a lecture and a demonstration type thing, but, the owner got up there, spoke for about 30 minutes, and then we had free reign of the studio basically all night. And people started to file in, a couple photographers, and I did not realize this, but a bunch of models came in as well. So there were a lot of different subjects to photograph on a bunch of different backgrounds. And I was trying to figure out what was going on the whole time because I had never been to anything like this. I had never done anything like this. I had no idea what I was getting into or what to expect, like I said. So I'm seeing all these people funnel in, and I'm with my roommate, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, yo, should we have brought our cameras? Because all these people walked in with their cameras and all their gear, and I just showed up planning to have a conversation, so I didn't bring anything. But luckily, I live around the corner, and after the intro lecture, I ended up going back to get my camera, and I got some really interesting shots of these models and these backgrounds, and it was just a really cool place to be creative and, not judged. Like everybody was kind of learning, so it was like a class more than anything, which was a really interesting experience because I had never shot in a studio before, so I had really no knowledge of how things worked. It was basically like learning how to do photography all over again, and I was struggling heavy at the start because my flash wasn't working that well, and I'm trying to figure out which settings I need to use, and it was kind of a nightmare for like the first, 30 minutes trying to figure everything out. But eventually I got dialed in and got some really neat shots like these. So yeah, you know, I after that I was really excited. I met some very cool people, both photographers and models, and made some new connections. And I have plans to go shoot with one of the models that I met come spring when it gets a little bit warmer outside, because she lives very close to me. And I think it would just be a cool experience for us both to just practice our craft a little, I guess, if you will, if that's what you want to call it. Plus, it'll give me things to put in my portfolio, as well as help her fill out her portfolio a little bit. So it's all around, it's a win-win. But I'd like to be able to give advice on what it's like to shoot in a studio if you've never done that. But it's different. It's different. Like if you are a candid photographer or a natural light photographer, much like I have been primarily throughout my short photography career, going into a studio where everything's dark and these models are moving constantly and you have to pose people, and you know, it's a whole different creative process than just kind of waiting for things to happen, or you know, going out at the right time of day to shoot a specific thing. Like there's a lot that goes into it, but it's what's really cool about shooting in a studio is you're completely in control over every single element there. You know, you have control over the lighting and your subject, and you're not waiting for the perfect moment for things to happen. You're creating the moment. You're making photos. You're not taking photos. You are making photos. And it's very, very interesting, because I've worked with families. I've worked doing portraits and things, and like I can pose people a little bit, but dealing with professionals who pose and who do these things it's now, I don't want to say that it's intimidating, but it's definitely different. Like I was trying to get like one shot and they'd move a little bit, and I'm like, whoa, I'm like trying to stop them. I'm like, no, wait, hold on. Don't move. Like hold that for just a second, while I was trying to dial in my settings and get everything figured out. And I felt like such a novice. I felt like somebody who had maybe picked up a camera 2 times in their life. And it was humbling. It was a very humbling experience. But again, everybody there was learning. Everybody was there for the same purpose. And there was no judgment. There was no right or wrong way to go about things. It was just a learning experience for everyone. Nobody really knew what was going on. Everybody was just trying to feel it out. Obviously, there were people who were a little bit more experienced than others, but everybody was super helpful, super kind, super into working with each other to make things happen. It was just a very cool experience, and it is something I think I might like to do again in the future. So if you are somebody who has never attended a photography workshop or some sort of networking event, the only advice I have for you is to go out and try it by yourself with a group of friends. Just take your camera and go there and do that, because I think that it's a really cool experience, and you might meet some people or talk to some people that might have some really good input for you. It was very cool to see that there was not a whole lot of gatekeeping. It was everybody trying to help each other get better at doing something that, you know, some people have done their whole lives and some people have never done once. So I don't know what all photography workshops look like. I don't know if everybody does themes, if everybody does, you know, different types of techniques per workshop or whatever. But, you know, if you are somebody who wants to get behind the camera or get in front of the camera and participate in some sort of event like that, I say do it. I don't think you have anything to lose by showing up to one of these things, prepared or ill prepared. I think that you will meet people there that you vibe with, and that, you know, you can teach things to or learn things from, and you can really make it a super beneficial experience. I don't really have any videos or, you know, anything, any B-roll of what the experience was like. That was so not what I was focused on, unfortunately. But definitely something I'll put in my back pocket for next time. I might actually follow this video up with a things that I learned video, but I did just kind of want to make this more of a talking one, tell you what I've been up to. But other than that, that's pretty much all I've got for you. I know that in the last couple of videos, I said that I've had some very exciting things that I want to talk about that are coming up, and I am still going to get to those things, but it's just not the right time yet. But we are approaching it very quickly, very quickly. So expect those videos in the next couple weeks. But for right now, like always, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want to talk about a workshop experience that you've had, or you've been thinking about this and you just want to share your thoughts on going to workshops or networking events, go ahead and leave me a comment. And like always, if you want to see more videos like this one, you want to see what crazy adventures I get up to in the future, because they're coming. I promise you, they're coming. I have more adventures planned, and I will get into that in the next couple weeks. Or if you just want to see more of my face, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one.